YouTube. As promised, I thought I'd shoot a video of my toolbox now that I've moved in. As you can see, I've kind of got the shop rats laying around here. Try not to step on any of them as I show you what's transpired. Just kind of first off, I was a little disappointed in this box. It turned out to be a lot smaller than I had thought it would be. Basically moved the contents out of this shop cart here and pretty much filled the box. I'm still using this service cart and it's fairly full still. I personally would have preferred to keep using the Mac cart, but this one has a few features on it that I couldn't pass up on, and so I'm going to continue using this for the time being. Mainly just being able to store the plastic case underneath like that, and I also liked how this box has a provision for pliers that I don't use all the time. Works pretty good. Get them out of the way, take up a lot less space out here, and I also liked the way that it holds screwdrivers. Right now I've got my extra long screwdrivers in here. I guess they're on this side here. The cabinet style screwdrivers. This means they take up so much space in the regular toolbox, and then the top has all my power tools, air tools, and whatnot up here. It just has a little more depth so I can close the top still, and takes up a little less space. But we'll move on to the main toolbox here. This is a KRA2422 I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I'll put that in the description later. Start off here. This is where I keep all my sockets and ratchets. Off to the left here is mainly my 3/8 stuff. I have some 3/8 deep impact. And again, with those actually, I bought the deep swivel impacts, and the 3/8 set came with it for free, so that's how I ended up with those. In the back here, my commonly used deep 3/8, semi-deep 3/8, and my regular 3/8, most of being Snap On there. There's my regular 3/8 impact swivels. Use those quite a bit. I actually thoroughly enjoy those. And then I have a full set of Torx bits and Mac. I've broken a few of those. Maybe they would have been better to go Snap On that one, but like I said, I still get the same warranty, so as I break them, I get them replaced. Until a few of the ones that I broke have now have chrome as opposed to the industrial finish that the other ones have. And these here are just a cheap set of Princess Auto, Allen, Keys, River, Metric, and SAE. And the back here is just an assortment of different odds and ends sockets, different applications. So I used to use these originally for axle nuts on the Volkswagens until I picked up some impact ones. But over the years they've held up. And then I just have a few just kind of different adapters. I have a couple of inverted Torx. I seem to remember using those on some GM products. I have a few different just sockets I've needed here and there, and a step-up adapter. Commonly used impact. Do a lot of work on BMW and Volkswagen, so it's your 17 mil. And then I have some spark plug sockets here. If you're looking for spark plug sockets, I recommend these. These are the Snap On swivel style with the rubber ends. They hold the spark plugs rather well. I would definitely recommend those. I like so much that someone actually traded me one of those sockets and gave me a ratchet. I don't think it was really a fair trade. I rather use the socket than the ratchet. I don't think I've ever actually used used the ratchet they gave me, and it was without my knowledge or permission. I guess I should state that. Here are some Wobble Plus extensions. I thoroughly enjoy those, but if you're don't want to spend the money on it, I would just get this 1.5 inch and the 11-inch. Those are pretty much the two that I use exclusively. There's applications where I'll use another one, but those are probably my main go-to. Here's just a assortment of different ratchets and 3/8. I personally am a fan of these bent-handled style ratchets. Just because that's what I started using, but for me, I absolutely love the flex head, and now that I use them, that's what I'll use exclusively. And then just have a few different assortments. This used to be one of my favorite, this little Mac ratchet here. The tooth count isn't the greatest. Doesn't have that nice feel that some of these newer ratchets do. But if you had that ratchet for a number of years, and it's actually held up. I can't remember if I've had to have this one rebuilt or not. But I have used it quite a bit. It has been replaced by this ratchet here. This is probably now my kind of go-to for when I need a small ratchet, and it's just a 1/4 inch ratchet with a 3/8 body in it. And I actually really enjoy that ratchet. And then this is just another 1/4 inch ratchet with a 3/8 body. Those two came as a set. I think it was buy one get one free. But I probably would have just gone with this one had the deal not been in place. Back here is my 1/2 inch metric impact socket set. This right here is probably one of my most highly used sets of tools. Use these all the time. A lot of guys kind of give flack on the Mac stuff, but I've actually had really good luck with it. I think I've only broken one, and it was just I broke the spring inside, and it kind of just disintegrated on me, so I got a new one, no problem. Behind here, just keep a assortment of my extra long extensions from 24 inches all the way up to 36. And then I also have my 46 inch extension, and it just kind of fits in this drawer, along with a few 1/2 inch ratchets, one being the 24 inch Snap On ratchet. I haven't used it a whole lot yet, it's a fairly new purchase for me. And then this is was my go-to ratchet, and I've had that for several years. I've had it rebuilt probably 6 times. It doesn't quite have the same feel as the Snap-on one does, but it got the job done. It was getting a little sloppy now, but it's also seen a fair bit of use and abuse. So there's just a few more just regular style extensions. In here is my 1/4 inch drive sockets, just a full set, and I've got SAE and metric in here. The shallows are Snap On. The SAE stuff is all Mac, and then the Craftsman's for some deep stuff. But I got a couple different ratchets and styles and whatnot in there. A couple extensions. It just makes a convenient place to keep all that. And then underneath is just some flare style crow's feet in metric, and then I've got some extra long Allen keys. Just ended up with a really good deal on that, so that's why I ended up picking those up. I would have preferred them with the ball ends, but they were substantially more money, so to get me out of a pinch, I've got those. I just got a medium set of Allen key extensions in metric, and then here's actually a Snap-on set of 1/4 drive deep and shallow sockets. Another one of those buy one get one free deals. You Beside are some of my original Craftsman socket sets, one of the first sets I ever had. And this is some shallows of that same Craftsman set. Picked up a set of Mastercraft sockets just to give me some oddball stuff that's not quite covered under your universal stuff off the trucks. And then I have my SAE impact swivels in 3/8 and 1/2 inch. Just there's a couple of these are deep, but. And then finally in the corner here I have my 1/2 inch impact socket set, both SAE and metric. I think I got this for, I think it was $60 that I got it on sale for, and I've had it for a number of years and I have yet to break one. So if you're looking for impacts, I don't recommend spending big bucks for them. There's a few applications where you don't have much of a bolt to grab onto, and that's where the nicer Snap-on Mac stuff comes in handy, but you don't really need it for the majority of this stuff. And to be honest, my pulling wheels off were pretty much all I used these for. If I wasn't, if I was working on anything else with the impact, I was using my impact swivels. The only time I'd revert back to these if I needed a little extra torque. In the back here, I have just some low profile 3/8 6-point sockets. I found I mainly use these. I've used these a lot for serpentine belt work, just to that low clearance, but there's been a few other applications where they've come in handy. On the side here on a magnet I have my serpentine tool, and I also have a low profile wrench for getting at door springs or door bolts, and they came with these torque style bits. I mainly use them on Volkswagens, but that's what I've got in my top drawer here. I guess I didn't include is you want a decent magnet, and I quite enjoy these little Blue Point magnets. They're nice and thin, you know, they're a little thinner profile than a pencil, but the magnet's very strong. Had the tool salesman come along and offered this one. I thought, hey, this is a good one. You got a light in the end and a magnet, but I found that magnet end to be too bulky and cumbersome. It was hard to work with, and I didn't really like the light. It used to turn itself on its own while sitting in my coverall pocket. So yeah, I don't use that a lot. I would definitely go with just this universal Blue Point magnet. You can see the part number there. So moving on, we'll go to my wrench drawer here. See, on the left hand side here is kind of more my commonly used wrenches. Up top here is all my SAE stuff. I don't use these too terribly much, as most of my stuff I work on is metric. And then here is my metric. Most of those all are the Flank Drive Plus. I quite enjoy those. In the other box, in a travel case, I have a few of the Mac Knuckle Buster or Knuckle Saver wrenches. I bought those for mainly doing alignments, working on tie rods, just to kind of see what they had for a little better grip. And then I also have a set of Mastercraft Maxim series. Actually, you can see some of these bigger sizes in the SE are that same set, and I just have a full set of those as well in SAE and metric. I'm working in the field. Over here is all my stubby wrenches, metric and SAE. The SAE is Snap-on. I got them from a garage sale for next to nothing, and then the SAE stuff is Mastercraft Maxim series, which I think are part of the same, or part of Apex Tools, which own Matco. In the center here, this is my ratcheting wrenches. Up top are my metric ratcheting wrenches, stubbies. And for a number of years I actually held off getting any stubbies just because I had those. And they've held up very well. I think I bought those back when I was still in college, studying for mechanical engineering. And then I have just a kind of a mixture for my regular ratcheting wrenches. I have one gear wrench here, and then some Jesse James. I ended up picking up off of the Mac dealer. He was selling them off for I think $5 a wrench, so I picked up kind of my common sizes, and then as I needed them I kind of filled them in. So this one here is a blue point, and then just a couple of oddball flare wrenches. I'm actually a pretty big fan of this style Mac ratcheting wrench. I have those from 10 to 14, mainly the 10 and 13 for working on my Volkswagens, and just a assortment of flare wrenches here. I've got one Snap On, and then the main set of them are Westward, and I've actually found them to be a fairly good wrench. Over here, just some of my kind of specialty wrenches in metric. I've got SE, but they're back in my toolbox, back in my parents' place. My dad works with that stuff primarily. And then just a few obstruction style wrenches here. And then some brake bleeding wrenches. So if you're bleeding any brakes, I definitely recommend getting a proper wrench. The last thing you want to strip out or break is a brake bleeder. Just more work than it's worth. Up top here, just some old Craftsman step style wrenches. I really don't use those at all, but they were dropped off, so I just stuck them in there. And then along with a few other cheap sets I bought to kind of fill in pieces I was going to put in my work truck and never ended up happening. And so I have some smaller oddball wrenches. Right here, my 15-degree offset box end wrenches, and then the extra length Snap-on set of metric wrenches. I was a little disappointed because what I was really hoping for is if you get these, but in a 21 and a 22 mil, those seem to be the ones I need the more leverage with. But seen in my other videos, I have a little cheater tool now for getting a little extra leverage on a wrench. Moving on, this is kind of where my other screwdrivers are. I've kept these in the case. The ones I use every day, I use a lot. I like having them in these cases. It keeps easier to keep track of them and just grab them and you throw them back in the box. And you spend a little less time trying to keep them organized. And the stuff I don't use as regularly, then I'll lay like that. I just got a assortment of bits. Got a Snap-on set of Torx. Used to have a Max set, but I found I was twisting the handles off of the shank too often, so I decided when I had a little bit of money I was going to upgrade to those. A couple sets of picks, some stubby screwdrivers, and just a few trim removal tools and picks, cotter pin pullers, and I guess my ratcheting screwdriver, but I don't use that a whole lot. I find this here kind of gets in the way a lot of the time, so I just use a regular screwdriver. Next drawer down is the plier drawer. The problem with this toolbox is it's got these shallow drawers and really makes it hard to put stuff in. I much prefer the deeper drawers. So right now these were just kind of some of my commonly used pliers and pliers that didn't fit on the drawers of the other box. But when I'm using them more often, I don't mind grabbing out of the drawers like this. I could probably get a few more in, but it makes it a little tougher to grab. So this will probably change here as I work out of the box. But that's how it sits for now. Right here, a lot of my prying tools. I got a set of pry bars, some files, some trim tools, and then some more clip tools there as well. Some extra screwdrivers, nut drivers, stethoscope, and precision screwdrivers, and some coilover wrenches, and some drill bits and banana knives. And I guess this is kind of another interesting little tool here. I don't know if I'll be able to get it out. But it's just an extra large set of tweezers. So you drop something that's not metallic, just kind of gives you another way of getting at it. This So you're moving down. This is kind of, well, I was a little disappointed in this box when we started running out of room pretty quickly. Off to the side, I've just got some of the bigger pliers. Got some of these Swedish wrenches and bigger filter wrenches. Offset pipe wrench. Big monkey wrench and water pump pliers. So right here is just a lockout kit. Being a mechanic, you're always being asked, I locked my keys in the car, can you get me in? So I've got that, and then right here, because this doesn't fit in the toolbox, is big easy tool, they call it. But you need a pretty good sized box to hold that one. And then just I've got a bunch of dollies for body tools. This right here is actually a camber tool for setting up your car for alignments when you change out some struts. Get it out here. But it's, yeah, it saves you a little bit of time when you change out a set of struts, and just kind of give you an idea where you're set before you actually set it to the rack, because if you can get it a little bit closer, it makes your job a little easier. And then here's just a Snap On file set. And then I've got a pile of body hammers. I really like the balance on these Snap On body hammers. I've had cheap ones in the past, and there is a world of difference there. Torque stick, that one's an 80 foot-pound one for 17 mil, so use that for a lot of your German stuff. And just an assortment of hammers, a couple of wood ones, fiberglass ones. Right here is just some extra saw blades for my Sawzall. And then I've got a couple of these Snap-on dead blow ball peen style hammers. And then, yeah, it's always nice to have a rubber mallet. And here is just a bunch of chisels and punch pins. Kind of give you an assortment. Don't use a whole terrible lot of them, but every once in a while you get a stubborn cotter pin, you just need something kind of exact in size. So the assortment's kind of nice. These here I use for line up pins, and these are actually quite handy. You kind of get something big and awkward, you can kind of shove that down the bowl hole and line things up that way. You don't have to worry about buggering up threads. Actually, this right here is probably one of the more useful hammers. It's got some pretty good weight to it, short handle, so lets you do a lot of work. And then I've got a cam holding tool, and then a bunch of snipes for various applications. So in here I've just got all my Allen keys. Used all the Allen keys in here are actually Craftsman, but I like this Husky holder, so I moved all my Craftsman stuff into there, and actually I ended up found that in a car I bought. I like using these for pushing calipers back in. I know a lot of guys have those fancy little wrenches, but Pitman arm puller, and then some spring compressors. Find those very handy, and just a few other oddball tools. Battery holding tool. This is why I hate this box. That lock and roll thing, they're always getting jammed. This drawer is kind of full. I ended up with an extra set of these low profile Snap-on sockets. Some front end axle nut sockets. So this right here is just a pickle fork set, so you can use it on your air hammer, or you can beat on it with a regular hammer. Just a cheap set from Princess Auto, but it does the job well. Right here is actually a socket set for my very first Craftsman set. I'll leave it in the tray. Just every once in a while you'll need a 12 point, so I'll keep that around for that. And just a putty board the applicators are handy. So right here I have different lengths of trim removal tools, the pick set. I like these extra long picks, they come in handy. You never know when you get caught with a rat hose that's being stubborn. So right here is an inner tie rod tool. And then beside it is like a split beam torque wrench. These right here for everyday use, these are my favorite style torque wrench. They work well and they hold up well. In the corner here is my 3/8 torque wrench. This one's one of the fancy digital torque wrenches. Works good when you're doing fine stuff in the engine, unless you do all the rotational torque. Focus again. So underneath I have a set of thread chasers, restoration kit. Definitely recommend having a set of those. They definitely save your bacon a lot. This is just a tool I made up for pulling the flanges out of a Volkswagen transmission. And then under here is just a precision set of Torx screwdrivers. I've got things layered up in here. Stuff down here I don't use very often. Right here is just a set of Robertson screwdrivers, and then some posi drives. So the things you don't use very often, and then just a clean set of screwdrivers. I'm a big fan of these Snap On Instinct screwdrivers, and so I think they actually came free with something else I bought. So, but I wanted a clean set, and actually I wanted a second set, but I was working out of 2 toolboxes at the time, and now I'm down to 1, so things kind of got combined. Moving on to, this is kind of my junk drawer. I got a lot of just kind of specialty things in here, odds and ends. My electrical tools, soldering gun, solder, heat shrink, a few razors, and X-Acto knives. I got my digital caliper in here, some extra batteries and bits. But yeah, just mainly kind of odds and ends. These are good for when your struts are gone on a hood prop. In here is mainly an electrical drawer, but I've mixed in some of my rad testing equipment in here. Just a few odds and ends, temperature probe, test light, multimeter with another computer safe test light inside of it. Out here. Get out of the light. And we got the garage wrap back. But yeah, so I've had this test light here's been pretty handy. Just for quick testing of things. It's computer safe, so I don't have to worry about messing anything up. So, and then I got my Power Probe 3. Just a cheap little scan tool. And we'll get him out of here. There's just a electrical pinout kit, and then just a few odds, bits and pieces for my coolant kit. Then the bottom drawer, this will probably get rearranged here, but I've got a vacuum bleeder, and then I've just an alignment tool, a couple of coolant testers, compression tester, funnel, and then I have just chemicals and whatnot. But I wasn't a big fan of how the other tools fit in here, so I'll play around with this some more. But yeah, I'll just give you give you a quick overview of what ended up in my toolbox, and then underneath that just didn't fit, so that's just a master ball joint kit. These are definitely handy when you're doing a lot of ball joints. And then you can see this is still got quite a bit of stuff still left over in here. More than my specialty stuff that I don't really want clogging up my toolbox. And then I've kind of left this drawer for body stuff and just some household tools. And then just another set of extra screwdrivers from other set. And there's my old Mac Torx bit set that I haven't taken back home yet. So this will probably end up going into the house, but goes with all the rest of the batteries. I've got a quarter drive impact, and then I just put the different bits in the end. Standard drill. And this sucker right here is super handy, and it's the 1/2-inch drive Milwaukee impact. It's got some good power to her. Seen other guys test it on YouTube, and they've been definitely surprised by the power. And then just I've got an extra set of pry bars in there. But that's what I've got for my toolboxes now. So hope you enjoyed. Any questions, feel free to comment. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe, and I will continue making videos. Thank you very much.